Dave and Kim Panozzo of the Panozzo Team. We are here at a very special place called Heidi's Village. This journey today is going to be unbelievable, and we want to show you all the best kept secrets. As always, guys, here's to your American dream.
Welcome to the next episode of The American Dream. I'm your host, Craig Sewing. The show is a positive one. Couldn't we use some positive media these days? This one's about real estate, lifestyle, culture, and neighborhoods, things that make this country great. And today, we're going out to Arizona with Kim and Dave Panozzo, award-winning realtors. They're going to show us around town and give us some advice. Absolutely love these two, and they're going to show you why Phoenix and Scottsdale and those surrounding areas can make your American dream. Let's go check it out.
The search is over, baby. I'm right here, and I got it.
The American Dream, the only show that combats negative media, not owned by a network, commercial-free, unscripted.
I got it.
These are stories for you and by you.
I got it. I got it.
Dave and Kim Panozzo of the Panozzo Team. We are here at a very special place called Heidi's Village. Now, this is a temporary home for both cats and dogs that are sheltered here from different parts of the valley. This is a 5-acre, 48,000 square foot temporary home for these cats and dogs, and this journey today is going to be unbelievable, and we want to show you all the best kept secrets.
So now let's go inside and meet with Ellen Clark, who's the CEO of Heidi's Village.
I'm here with the CEO, Ellen Clark of Heidi's Village, and this is an unbelievable facility.
It is, isn't it?
I'm blown away, and I'm so excited to get the tour. But first, I want to ask you, what is Heidi's Village all about?
Well, Heidi's Village exists to create and foster an environment where animals are treated with respect, dignity, and compassion. Our vision is to make sure all animals are in homes where they're secure and safe and exist in a loving environment.
You guys are not in competition with the other shelters here in town. You guys are very unique, and I want you to kind of break that down because there's nothing like this in the nation.
Correct. We want to collaborate with other animal welfare organizations to help them with some of the animals that they have that aren't currently adoption candidates.
Okay.
So there are many animals in the Phoenix area that are at risk of euthanasia simply because they're cats, or simply because they're pit bulls or chihuahuas like Ted here. If they have behavioral issues or medical issues, at times in this community, the shelters are so full of animals that it's hard to continue their stay in many shelters, continue treating them, continue providing behavioral intervention for them. And sometimes the only course of action is euthanasia. Heidi's Village is not a high volume adoption program.
Correct.
We are trying to help those high volume adoption programs by boarding their animals that aren't yet ready for adoptions.
How did this happen? I mean, who is behind this? Because once again, this is a 5-acre, 48,000 square foot facility. There's what, like 9 different buildings. How and who is behind the scenes of this?
So the brainchild of this organization is Virginia B. Jontis, Ginny Jontis. She was a realtor in town, but has a passion for animals. Simply, our name Heidi comes from a dog that Ginny rescued from a woman who needed assistance in the course of her real estate business. And the woman was dying of cancer and asked Ginny to take her dog, Heidi, and care for it after she passed.
Wow.
And it was such a positive experience for Ginny. She became involved in many of the rescue groups in town, has provided an extraordinary amount of support in our community. And she decided she wanted to create a place where animals could go for behavior intervention, for medical intervention, and in some cases for adoption as well.
I'm super excited to see the rest of the property. Who's going to be our tour guide today?
Oh, you've got a great tour guide. Lisa Evans Johnson is our Chief Development Officer. She's gonna give you a great tour.
I'm excited, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
So Lisa, when you said you had a splash pad here at Heidi's Village, I didn't realize this is a splash pad. Can you tell us a little bit more about this design?
So our splash pad features a number of installations that do anything from bubbling to misting. Of course, you can see we've got a fire hydrant that sprays back at the dogs, which I think is pretty appropriate. And our dogs get a chance to come out here just about every day and play in the water and have a good time.
So the premise of the splash pad, is it really to help them like keep exercise, or what was kind of the idea with the splash pad?
So when a dog is staying in a kennel in a shelter environment, one of the things we want to try to avoid is them being stuck in their kennel all day. So we provide a lot of different enrichment opportunities, one of them being the opportunity to come out and play in the splash pad, get wet, chase a ball around, and that also helps with their interaction with humans. And so that's called socialization.
Okay.
It allows them to become comfortable around people and therefore a good adoptable animal.
Makes you wanna dance, yeah, makes you wanna move, baby. Feel it in your soul, it's the way we rock and roll. Makes you wanna scream, you're screaming out for more, baby.
So Lisa, now we are in one of the 9 buildings you have on this 5-acre campus here. Can you tell us a little bit about the functionality of this space?
So we're currently in the center of one of our dog boarding buildings. Our dog boarding buildings, the 6 that we have, are all shaped like a cross. And this workspace is in the center of each building. And it provides a space for our animal care technicians to do the various work that needs to happen throughout the day with the kennels. We've got all of our treat stuff back here behind us so that we can do some enrichment with the animals in our care, like Sparky, clean up, everything like that. And the great thing about this space is that it's in each building. So our animal care technicians have everything they need to care for the animals right there centralized in each space. They don't have to go carting laundry across campus or searching for things. Everything's right here. We've got 4 wings on each building, and each wing has its own dedicated play yard. The play yards feature canine turf, a shade structure, misting systems, and agility equipment. So our animals are able to get out there several times a day, romp around on the equipment, do some socialization with our animal care technicians, and spend some of that energy that they get from being in their kennel. Well, we've seen the dogs. You ready to go see the cats?
I'm so excited. Let's go.
Okay.
So now we are in the cat building, and oh my gosh, I have kitty cuteness overload. Can you tell us a little bit about this building?
Sure. So just like our dog boarding buildings, our cat buildings feature workspaces, various kennels and things to hold the animals in a nice, safe, comfortable environment. You'll see Mama Chloe over here with her 7 kittens. They came to us needing a home, and so they're going to be staying with us for a while until they get surgery and are able to be up for adoption. They, of course, have a nice view of TV, so they get to watch fish and birds and all sorts of things that are interesting for cats throughout the day. Our kennels that are on the other side get a nice view of the outside where there's flora and fauna to attract birds and bees and other things to give them that enrichment that they need throughout the day. So just like our dog boarding buildings, our cat buildings also have outdoor play space so the cats can get out, run around, smell the different plants and the things in the air, and just have some time outside of their kennel. Also, it's a great time to socialize, get them used to being around our animal care technicians so they can be good adoptable pets.
So Lisa, now we're in our veterinary clinic. Can you tell us a little bit about all the services you do here?
Sure. So you're getting kind of a sneak peek into the backside of our veterinary and surgical clinic. This is where we provide services to our rescue partners, spay, neuter, surgeries, wellness, pretty much any surgical procedure other than emergency care and specialty. And the nice thing about this space is because boarding is here, veterinary services, grooming, and behavior training, they can do everything right here on the facility. They don't have to pick up the animal, cart it across town to different services, and then bring it back. That reduces the stress on the animal. It also makes it a lot easier for our rescue partners to do what they do best, which is rescue animals and find them their forever homes. Smitten Kitten Nursery is our 24-hour neonate nursery for kittens that are at a very vulnerable stage. They have either lost their mother due to an injury or they've been abandoned. These kittens come to us at as young as a day old, and they require bottle feeding every 2 hours. So that means we have 24-hour care staff in there feeding them every 2 hours, making sure that they're taken care of. And these are animals that we either get from people who have had kittens show up on their porch or in their yard, and we help them with those surrenders. Or we also partner with Arizona Humane Society, who also has a kitten nursery. And one of the great things about this nursery is once we get these kittens up and feeding themselves on their own and independent, we wait until they're 2 months, 2 years old. They get their spay-neuter surgery, and then they move right over into our Meow Motel, which is our adoption center.
I just wanna dive into the blue. Doesn't really matter what we do. Don't let the moment pass us by. Just trust that the universe is right.
We hope you enjoyed today's tour of Heidi's Village. I know for a fact that there's 3 different puppies that I wouldn't mind adopting today. As always, guys, here's to your American dream.
Well, the Panozzos have showed you around some cool stories of Phoenix and Scottsdale. Now let's give you some real estate advice. These 2 are the best in the business. Check out this interview they had this week.
Welcome. Today we have a special guest, Tina Tambor. She is the senior real estate analyst for the Cromford Report, and we're very excited to have you today.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here.
Well, and once again, with Tina's background, she knows everything about real estate here in the Phoenix market, and there is definitely a lot to talk about. So that's why we wanted to have you come on to basically kind of tell our listeners what's real, what's not real, what's going on with our market. And so we thought it'd be appropriate to have you on today.
All right. Well, there's a lot going on, and as far as what's real and what's not real, I don't know what's going on out there that says not real, but I would imagine that the biggest question people have is, are we in another bubble? That's typically the biggest question I get. Is that real? And I would say the general consensus amongst almost every analyst is that we're not in a bubble. We are experiencing a very similar situation in terms of multiple offers over asking price. The competition for homes is high, but in the past, during the bubble years, that competition was from investors and flip investors who were taking advantage of lending practices at the time and buying it not to live in it, not to rent it out, but to flip it to somebody else who's not going to live in it, not rent it out, flipping it to somebody else not going to live. So what we called that was false demand. And that came about in the early parts of 2004 when lending became extremely loose. I mean, and I say that, it's an understatement. Say it was just loose. It was crazy loose. But today, what's happened is from that glut of housing that we had, and so we got a glut because the builders thought all of that was real, and they launched 100,000 permits in a 2-year period. And so when the lending tightened up, what they found out was that there was nobody actually there. Our population growth hadn't kept up with all the housing growth that we had. And so we ended up with a glut of houses and no one who wanted to live in them. Nobody was literally there, physically there to live in the homes. That's what the problem was during the bubble. Over the last 14 years, what we've seen is a population growth that has outpaced building. So little by little, we ate up all of that glut, and little by little, we found ourselves in a housing shortage, a real one this time, a real one where we have real people who really need homes. And so the competition now is not amongst flip investors, but amongst people who really need a place to live. That's the biggest difference, and that's why we know we're not in a bubble today, because for one, rents are rising at the same rate or faster than the costs of purchasing a home. So I would say that the market we're in right now is a real housing shortage.
Well, and we're getting the buyer that's like, well, I'm going to hold off until everything collapses and I'm going to be able to pick up this $500,000 house for half price. And, you know, once again, sharing those indicators, they still think there's going to be this massive crash. And
the numbers absolutely do not support a crash. Anybody who understands where we were prior to the 2008 crash, or even the beginning of that. So where we were in supply and demand, we had 58,000 listings in the MLS. 58,000 before prices went down. Prices weren't even declining. We had 58,000 listings. We had 4,000 in escrow. 4,000 people had contracts. That was where we were before prices dropped. Prices hadn't even started collapsing at that point. So where we are today is completely the opposite. We actually have just under 13,000 in escrow today. So, you know, 3 times the number of contracts are in the escrow today. And we have fewer than 8,000 active listings. So in order for us to just get to the point to where prices would decline, we would have to see supply skyrocketing right now. And that's just not happening. You're not going to see prices decline in the time frame that these buyers or even sellers expect them to happen, because the market just doesn't move that fast. The residential market doesn't move like the stock market or even the rental market for that matter. It moves like a slow oil tanker. You know, you turn the wheel and it just goes, it just doesn't go that fast. It would take us years to get to a place to where supply and demand would be prior to the 2008.
Where do you feel that most of the people, or what are you seeing most of the people are moving here from that is probably creating more demand than typical?
Well, interestingly enough, we saw, this whole year has been against the grain for what we would expect seasonally. You know, when we were supposed to be up, we were down. We were supposed to be down, we're up. And so what we're seeing now is Californians, which is typical for us. This is nothing new for Greater Phoenix. Typically, LA County specifically has been one of the #1 counties outside of the state of Arizona for inbound relocation for Maricopa County. But what we're seeing is probably a bigger influx, and the influx is caused by not just one specific thing, but a combination of, again, for lack of a better term, a perfect storm of things. And so specifically since August 1st, we've seen a massive increase in sales over 600,000. Actually, I mean, every price range over 600,000. A lot of people are saying that they're from California. The agents that I talk to say they're Californians.
So let me ask you this, and this is a election question. I'm not going to ask you who you think's going to win, but during this election time of year, what kind of effects does this have on our housing market?
The election, again, the housing market moves very slowly. And like I was trying to tell you, like, it's not like the stock market that will respond to any gaffe anybody makes in the stock market, does some kind of weird thing. Rentals are fast to respond to things because of the time it takes to actually rent a home is only, say, a week. The longest period is a week right now. And so you'll see prices and activity respond right away in that market. But in terms of housing, somebody's desire or need for housing doesn't necessarily rely on the election. It tends to affect maybe luxury a little bit more because of the stock market, wherever you're a little more connected to the stock market, jumbo financing and so on, you might see some fluctuation there. But overall, historically, there's no effect. The election itself has no effect. But what I will say is this. It always happens in November. November is the shortest month of the year. It's typically in the fourth quarter, which is the least active for buyers every year, you know. And so typically you'll see something that says, oh, there were fewer sales in November than October, and it must clearly be because of people were waiting for the election. And that's just not the case. It's just it happens every year. Again, you have a short month with a holiday in there. And so you have fewer working days to actually close the deals. So that part is just, that happens every time. And then of course the inauguration is at the first part of the year. And that's when your buyer activity in Greater Phoenix kicks in again. So between January and May every year, that's when we see buyer activity escalate. And so some people like to attest that the right person won. Whoever that was, it's because the right person won, and so now demand is back. But it really doesn't have any effect on prices because prices take too long to respond to things like that. So you'd have to be in a long-term period of distress or anxiety or decision making in order for it to truly have a massive effect on real estate, long lasting. It doesn't.
Well, I'm glad you were able to clarify that because everyone, they ask, and it's one of those, and they're like, really? Are you sure about that? And once again, I'm glad you're able to shed some light on that.
I would say there's only one time, and it wasn't the election, it was policy decisions. So at the end of 2008, when the Obama administration was elected in, within a month, they launched the first-time home buyer credit. And that was at the time of a crisis when we needed it. And it was just enough to stop housing prices on a dime from declining. And that's the only time we can actually point to something specific and say, election, policy, effect, right away, all in those three. But other than that, like I said, most things don't.
Well, Tina, we really do appreciate your time. I know that you have back-to-back Zoom meetings today, but nonetheless, we really appreciate you coming on and clarifying what's going on in our market. And
overall, I would say if somebody's wondering if they should buy, the projection for Phoenix's prices will continue to rise. So anybody who's thinking they're going to wait for prices to decline, they're going to be sorely disappointed over the next at least 6 months, if not longer. Of price appreciation. So our feeling is prices are going to rise before they ever decline. So how long do you want to wait for prices to rise and then come back down to where they are today?
Awesome. Well, Tina Tambor of the Crawford Report, we appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
And let's have a great day.
Thank you.
This beautiful home is located in the highly desirable community of Sonoran Hills. This home has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths with an open floor plan with plantation shutters throughout. The gourmet kitchen offers upgraded white cabinetry, a huge kitchen island, granite countertops, and stainless steel appliances. The spacious owner's suite has a huge walk-in closet and a door to the backyard oasis. Step outside through the incredible huge sliding glass door to the paver backyard patio with imitation grass and a built-in barbecue. Great location, convenient to shopping and great restaurants in Kierland, Scottsdale Quarter, and Desert Ridge, and is very close to the 101 Loop. Pride of home ownership shows in every detail of this beautiful house. This 4-bedroom plus loft home has soaring ceilings when you step through the front door. The chef's kitchen has upgraded cabinetry, a large center island, and stainless steel appliances. Wood and wrought iron staircase leads you upstairs to the loft, 2 guest bedrooms, and a huge owner's retreat that has dual sinks, a huge walk-in closet, along with a separate tub and shower. The backyard has a private oasis with complete covered patio, gorgeous PebbleTech pool with a water feature and barbecue grill area. This stunning Lower Arcadia home was rebuilt in 2018 by Will Scheim Design and Build. This custom 4-bedroom plus bonus room 2.5 bath home features soaring ceilings, wide plank wood floors throughout. The kitchen boasts white shaker cabinets, quartz countertops, oversized island, stainless steel KitchenAid appliances with a built-in 42-inch refrigerator. The backyard has a large covered patio, fenced-in pool, and grassy area for the kids. Great location in Lower Arcadia. Enjoy being so close to all that Arcadia has to offer and just minutes away from Old Town Scottsdale. This gorgeous home has it all. Stunning curb appeal with a pavered driveway and walkway leads you straight into this open concept floor plan with neutral paint throughout, 10-foot ceilings, wood plank tile floors, and shutters throughout. Kitchen boasts espresso cabinets with soft closed drawers, granite countertops, glass backsplash, stainless steel appliances, and a gas cooktop. The owner's suite features dual sinks, a tiled walk-in shower, and a walk-in closet. The private backyard has imitation grass with a covered patio.
Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of The American Dream. We absolutely love Dave and Kim Panozzo. Make sure you connect with them if you have any questions about your real estate. In the meantime, hope you can follow the show at The American Dream TV. It's positive media, and I think we could all use that these days. So check us out, follow the show, and in the meantime, cheers to your American Dream.